Aisha was on the third day of her Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca that all good Muslims aim to take in their lifetime, when she had a dream that would challenge everything she had known. It was late in the evening, and Aisha had lain down in her tent after an exhausting day. Together with her fellow pilgrims, she had completed the 7 circuits of the Kaaba, the sacred black stone in the centre of the city. But as she lay there in her tent, pondering the day's events, she heard a sound. She sat up to see an astonishing sight. Standing before her was a man dressed in gleaming white robes. At first she thought it was a visiting cleric, but she couldn't see any opening in the tent behind him. Light from the man's clothing seemed to flow into her body, and she felt an unearthly warmth and calm. Then the man raised his arm in greeting, and she knew he loved her deeply. In an instant, she realised it was Jesus. Over the next few months, Aisha had more visions like this one. Sometimes she only saw Jesus' face. Other times he spoke to her. Each time the message in his eyes was clear. Come, follow me. As a result of her experiences, Aisha made a decision to follow Jesus. There are thousands of stories like Aisha's coming out of the Middle East. Missiologists estimate that between 30 and 50% of conversions to Christianity involve dreams of Jesus. In Iran, one report says that 100% of them are due to dreams. The experiences are often similar. There's a figure in white robes with arresting eyes, an intense feeling of love, and then the call to follow. The dreamers are drawn to Jesus, and afterwards they embark on a journey to discover if he's more than just the prophet they'd heard about in Islam. I find these testimonies fascinating. What we see here is that God is a missionary God. God is constantly seeking people who don't know him. Can you notice a few things about this story? God is on mission. Do you know that we see this all the way through biblical history? We see that the eyes of the Lord are ranging through the world, looking to strengthen hearts that are towards him. Think of the story of Jacob, who had a dream about a stairway to heaven when he was estranged from God. Think about the Egyptian Pharaoh contemplating the future of his economy when he receives his dreams. Think about the wise men at Christmas who followed the star to discover Jesus. God is a missionary God, always reaching out to those who don't know him. And of course, we see that most clearly in the mission of Jesus, who himself was sent by a missionary God to save the world. And during his ministry, we see Jesus constantly reaching out to people, constantly watching for people who were searching for him. Think about the Roman centurions. Think about the tax collector, the Canaanite woman who came and wanted an audience with him. Jesus was sent to reach the world because he loved it. And then, of course, after Jesus' death, we see the Holy Spirit doing the same thing. We see the Holy Spirit appearing in a vision of Jesus to Paul on the Damascus road, a bit like Aisha. We see the Holy Spirit orchestrating a meeting with Philip for the Ethiopian eunuch. God is still on mission today, looking for people who are seeking truth. What does that mean for us as God's people? Well, here we have an opportunity to cooperate with the outreaching missionary God. We are called to be God's witnesses. And it starts with the recognition that Holy Spirit is already at work, speaking to people, reaching out to people, and that we're called to cooperate, to be a part of preaching the good news and making disciples. We're called to take up the opportunity to think, God, what are you doing? And how can I be a part of that? How can I be your hands and your feet and your voice, bringing the good news of the missionary God to everyone I meet? God is on mission, and so are we. Hey, thanks for listening to Everyday God Conversations today. For more on having your own God conversations and listening to the Holy Spirit who's on mission in your own life, go to godconversations.com.